Barnaby Jones, starring Buddy Ebsen. Also starring Lee Merriweather, with guest star Margot Kidder, special guest star Clu Gulager. Tonight's episode, Trial Run for Death.
Okay, now you split.
What do you mean split?
You know you shouldn't be here. It's not safe.
People's talking about safe. Racing cars. I want to go away with you. I want to be alone with you.
No, not now. I can't do that.
No.
Well, brother-in-law, what brings you away from your desk and down to Pitsy?
Bye.
Oh, how they get in here, man? You gotta beat those track groupies off with a stick.
Oh, stop it, Mark.
Oh, come on. What? You don't think that I was messing around with a girl?
No, I used to think. Now I know. I resented driving all the way out here today just to have you sign these things. But now I'm very glad I did.
Just hand me the pen, Kurt.
No, I don't think you'll be signing anything for Fowler Industries ever again. Not after I tell Rita about this little wrestling match I just witnessed.
What are you talking about, wrestling?
My sister might be somewhat gullible and naive.
Hey, watch. That's my wife you're talking
But
about.
not for long. Because if there's one thing that Rita's not, she is not forgiving. It's not exactly a Fowler trait.
Wait a minute, Kurt.
Don't worry. You'll get a satisfactory check for your time and services. Pocket money until you can snare some other rich, unsuspecting woman.
It was murder. You mark my words. When you get to the bottom of this, Jones, all of you, remember I said it.
Oh, Dad, please.
No, no. Man doesn't like to see his son beat him to the grave. It's unnatural. Can you understand that, Jones?
Yes, Mr. Fowler. Yes, I can.
Well, then, what do you think?
Well, I think that I may bang up more than a shoulder if I go to jumping to conclusions. I like to hear what Mr. Landy thinks. He was driving. Well, it's not entirely beyond the realm of possibility, Mr. Jones, that the car was tampered with.
Don't flavor it with sweet talk about possibilities, son. He's the only son I have now. And the bitter truth is that Mark here is the one that they were after.
We don't know that, Dad.
All right. All right. Call his feelings. Mark is what you might call a carnivorous driver. He has brought back more trophies, more cash prizes than any other 5 drivers that I have ever backed. There were an awful lot of unhappy drivers that followed him across the finish line.
And you think that maybe one of these unhappy drivers might have tried to eliminate him?
Exactly.
From the look of the face and arm, I would say that the accident is still painfully clear in your mind. Do you recall exactly what happened? Well, it's like I said, it was Kurt's first ride, so I didn't want to spook him first time out, you know. But he seemed to be enjoying it after the second, third lap, so I thought I'd show him what the car would do. I was just easing up toward the embankment there. I was going to make a wide turn, figuring to come down out of it full bore, and she just went. Went? Yeah, the steering link just went. I felt it pulling right, like the right arm had completely gone. And next thing I knew, we were painting the wall with metal. We ended there, and we rolled, and by the time I crawled free, and it was already too late for Kurt.
Find out who did it. Find out who tampered with that car.
Have you any idea who may have wanted to do this to you, Mr. Landy?
Oh, every time you take home a trophy, you're going to make some enemies, Mr. Jones. That's just natural. And I've taken home a lot of trophies.
If my father is wrong, Mr. Jones, please find that out, too.
What's the matter with you?
Oh, do you think I could have that one for nights when I feel like being a little sophisticated?
All right, all right. Is that it?
I'll take it. On account.
What do you mean on account?
On account of you love me.
Yeah, I do. So let's go.
And on account of I know that your brother-in-law was going to tattle to his sister.
What'd you say?
It wasn't very nice of him, was it? I think I would have done the same thing that you did.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I love this. Can I?
You said you wanted to see Mr. Landy's racing suit, huh?
If there's anything left of it.
Ruined it when they cut it off him, of course. I don't even know why I brought it back from the hospital.
You sure tore it up, didn't you?
Yep.
Would you hold that?
Yeah.
What are you doing that for?
I'll be doggone. I thought Mark Landy told me that he was trapped in the wreck for a few seconds before he crawled away. I thought, gee, that's really something. Fire doesn't make a mark on us, but it does.
Blood?
I guess the nurse that
cut this off of them must have gotten carried away with their work. It's like lipstick. That the kind of a car that Mark drove?
Similar. Needs about a month's work, though.
I always wanted to sit in one of those things. You mind?
Be my guest.
Real nice.
How's the investigation going there, Mr. Jones? You uncover any saboteurs operating around here besides Mitch?
No. Mr. Hammer assures me that the only fingerprints of his I'll find around here would be on a cold beer in a cool place. Say, the emergency crew tells me that they found Mr. Fowler's helmet inside the car after they put the fire out. Wasn't he wearing it?
Oh, yeah, you better believe it. I insist on that. Must have come off on impact. That happens.
Yeah. Well, I'll be on my way. Say, where'd you say that you had the car taken?
Burned salvage out in the valley. Afraid there isn't much left to salvage.
Probably not. I don't know too much about cars. Well, thank you very much for your time, Mr. Hammer, and thanks for the tour.
What's he want with that suit?
Who knows? He was burning it with a match, scraping away at it with a little knife.
Scraping away at what?
Lipstick. Said your suit had lipstick on it.
You're still dissecting Mark Landy's racing uniform?
Have a look at this left sleeve and shoulder, Betty. Interesting?
Torn and dirty, yes. What makes it interesting?
As you say, it's torn and dirty and embedded with sand and grass.
But you said he dislocated his shoulder in the crash.
I said he dislocated his shoulder in the crash.
Well, maybe he was thrown from the car when it hit.
He said he crawled out of the flaming wreck.
But you don't see it that way here.
Not a sign of a scorch or smoke mark on the entire suit, and the left shoulder looks like it struck with sufficient impact to dislocate it.
Are you telling me that the great Mark Landy chickened out when he saw a crash coming and jumped?
There you go, disparaging chickens again. There's nothing chicken about a chicken. We used to have a Rhode Island Red that chased dogs.
All right. What I meant was that it doesn't do much for his bravery image to abandon ship and let his passenger die in the crash.
Yes, I suppose a man might lie about a thing like that. And then there is this doggone lipstick.
Is it ready yet?
Almost. Looks like some kind of a cream emulsion.
Are you sure it's lipstick?
I'm not so old I've forgotten what lipstick looks like.
Barnaby, do you have any idea how many different kinds there are?
No, but Pacific Cosmetics know exactly. And they are expecting you.
I know.
I just don't know what to say.
Nothing to say. It's all decided. You're going to hang up your racing helmet and take over Kurt's job here with me. I redid every inch of it, Mark.
Oh,
just for you.
I can see that. It's a strange feeling. I mean, Kurt's office here. You know, filling his office is one thing, but filling his job, that's another.
You're the man for it. I want you to manage the automotive division of Fowler Industries.
Oh, boy.
All right. I know. I've been hooked on the smell of exhaust fumes and burning rubber for 40 years, ever since I went into the automotive equipment business. I have spent millions on race cars. To sell Fowler spark plugs, Fowler brakes, Fowler accessories. I love it. But the driver is just hired help.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
You know what I mean. Drivers come and go, but the business goes on right in here.
Yeah, let me tell you something, Morgan. I wouldn't admit this to anyone but you. I've noticed the kids are getting a little tougher every year.
So, leave the driving to the kids. If Barnaby Jones finds that one of them is out after your hide, fool him. Quit at the top. No disgrace to quit at the top.
Retiring, I think they call that.
Exactly. And what's more, you won't see this old gray head around here much longer either. No, sir. So, get ready. You're the only son I've got now, Mark.
Trying to do a good job. I don't know what else to say.
Save the speeches for the annual sales meeting. Well, I'll get out of here now and let you get to work.
Thank you.
It's a good feeling having you here, Mark.
Oh, Mr. Landy, congratulations.
Thanks. I guess I was the last to know, huh?
I'll try to be all the help I can. I was with Mr. Fowler, the late Mr. Fowler, for many years.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. I tell you, right now, I guess you better show me who's first.
Perhaps you'd better see Miss Wright first. She said she had an urgent appointment about a public relations job you promised her.
Oh, yeah. She's first. You show her in, would you, please?
Yes, sir. Miss Wright?
Thank you. Well. So my baby's become a vice president.
Well, you're crazy. You shouldn't have come here.
I was worried. What's this new job going to mean to us?
What do you mean, us? You sound like we were a corporation or something.
The Love Corporation, that's us.
Hey, come on, Lori. Now, come on. Be reasonable. You got to spoil everything.
There's getting to be more and more to spoil, isn't there?
No, we just got to be careful. That's all.
Well, then why don't you carefully take me out to dinner tonight?
The dinner.
You know, dinner. The meal after lunch.
Yes.
We could go to some quiet, pretty little place at the beach. I mean, candlelight's about as careful as you can get, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'll have to call you on that.
Phone calls are for alibis. So make your phone call to your wife. Really, you're a busy man now. You have a new job. You got a lot of excuses.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, this could turn out to be not so bad.
All right, I'll tell you what, I'll meet you, all right?
Okay.
Okay.
I had to take a cab here.
What's the matter with your car?
Well, it's been a car too long.
Oh, yeah? Well, we'll find you another one.
Well, there was this absolutely stunning sports car at Aston Imports, you know, that I think that a new public relations girl from Fowler Industries would look divine.
Yes. We'll talk about that tonight.
Do you love me?
Yes, I love you.
You better.
I do.
I'll see you tonight.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
I know my father means well. But honestly, Mr. Jones, don't you think this idea of sabotage is rather far-fetched?
How about that? That's a second question I was going to ask you.
Now that I've answered your second question, what about the first?
Do you know of any reason why anyone would fix the car to harm your brother instead of your husband?
Kurt?
I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I'm just looking for motives.
I don't think you could find anybody who would even have a bad word for Kurt. Besides, I was rather surprised that he'd even get into a racing car. I always thought he was scared of them. Oh, excuse me. Hello? Oh, yes, he is. Mr. Jones? Just a moment. Your daughter-in-law.
And my secretary. Hello, Betty?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. This has taken all the pleasure out of ever wearing lipstick again.
Did you find it?
Finally. I had no idea there were so many dreadful shades with such glamorous names.
Like what?
Well, like the one we're looking for. It's called Tamarind Wind. It's made by Camelot Cosmetics.
Thank you, Betty. I appreciate that. Talk to you later. Doggone it, I had her on the phone and I forgot to ask her. She was calling from a phone booth, too.
Problem?
Well, I told Betty this morning I was going right by a drugstore and she asked me to bring her a lipstick. Now, what was the name of that Tamarind Wind or Tamara?
I'm afraid that's a new one on me. I can't help you. Darling, you're home early.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mr. Jones? Hi. Honey, I'm sorry, but I got to change. I got to get back because some guys from out of town came in and just...
Well, I'm just leaving. Thank you very much, Ms. Lynn.
You uncover any sinister plots to do away with me yet, Mr. Jones?
Not yet. But I had an expert out looking over your car all day at Burns Salvage. I was supposed to meet him, half an hour ago. I'll let myself out.
Bye.
Bye.
He shouldn't be bothering you like that.
Oh, he's very nice. But I'm afraid Father has him going in all directions.
What do you mean?
Now he wonders whether someone really intended to harm Kurt. Can you imagine?
The companies I represent don't insure racing cars, Barnaby. You can sure see why. That's a $40,000 pile of junk.
Not much left to salvage, huh?
Oh, they'll save a dozen pieces of it. Few expensive parts. That's all.
Find anything interesting?
Well, you didn't tell me what you're looking for.
That's right. I wanted an objective professional opinion.
Well, when they come off the wall that way, it's hard to tell whether it's negligence, mechanical failure, or what. Front tires were both burned, but there's no sign of a normal blowout.
What about steering?
Oh, they'll be able to use that again, I imagine. That's a tough article. About the only thing left intact in the whole car.
You mean it still works?
Yeah, see for yourself. It's as good as new.
What do you know about that?
No, I just can't pinpoint the cause of this crash for you, Barnaby. Sorry. Gonna have to bill you anyway, you know.
Well, I think you earned your money, Frank.
That's it?
That's it. Thanks. Appreciate it. Oh, and say hello to your wife. She still makes the best lasagna in Southern California.
Hey, cut it out. You're making me hungry.
if you're still wondering about the accident, I'm afraid I don't have any fresh guesses for you.
I was just thinking about Mark Landy. He must pick up a lot of admirers. He's handsome, rich, wins all the time.
Oh, yeah, everybody loves a winner.
I guess that includes ladies.
Sure doesn't hurt your stand with the chicks, that's for sure.
Any particular chick have her eyes on Mr. Landy?
Guy's personal life is his own business. That's how I feel.
Well, that's sort of the way I feel, too, but the Fowler family is pretty big and important. I don't want to embarrass Mrs. Landy.
I don't get you.
If that fresh lipstick on Mr. Landy's racing uniform is just innocent personal business, I don't want to put my foot in it by asking him questions, you understand?
Okay, but you didn't hear it from me, right?
No way did I hear it from you.
I don't even know her whole name.
Which half have you got?
All I know is she wears one of those gold ID bracelets, and it says Laurie on it.
Drive like that, you're not going to live long enough to break it in, my friend.
Well, look who's talking. The big, brave racing car driver. I scared you, didn't I?
You better believe it. Amateurs scare me to death. Honey, I gotta get back.
Get back?
Yeah, I gotta...
Every time we get together, all you're thinking about is getting back.
No, that's not true. I just have to... Hey, Laurie, wait a minute, wait a minute. How many ways you expect me to keep dividing my time, I mean...
Well, you didn't have to take that job with your father-in-law.
No, it's just things have changed now. You know, they've changed.
They could change again.
I don't know what you mean.
We could have everything. We could have it all.
Yeah. I'm afraid you lost me on the last turn back there. What,
Well, don't you inherit all your wife's money?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. Don't tell me you haven't thought about it.
I don't believe you.
Don't make me out to be the criminal.
You stop talking like one.
Well, isn't it better than walking around pretending you're not?
That was an accident. An accident.
Darling Mark, the murder may have been an accident. The accident was no accident. Oh, Mark, I've wanted you from the moment I laid eyes on you. You acted like you wanted me. You said you did. Will you lie?
No, I wasn't lying.
Then...
It's just that, see, well, I never even considered anything like that with Rita. I mean, it's just,
Well, I think you should consider it. I mean, you could have anything in the world you wanted, and you could be anywhere you wanted. And you have me.
You're a lot more woman than I gave you credit for. You know that?
Well, I'm all the woman that you'll ever need. Because I'm in love with you.
Miss Wright.
Yes?
Mighty pretty little demon you're driving there.
Yes, I just got it. Oh, thank you, but if you're from one of those car agencies I talked to, I already got some. Thank you anyway.
Oh, no, I couldn't make it as a car salesman. I'm a private investigator.
Oh?
I'm also, what you might say, a friend of Mark Landy. His father-in-law asked me to investigate the car crash in which his son was killed. Well, I'm sort of a Sunday driver, so I thought talking to a dyed-in-the-wool race fan like yourself might be helpful.
A race fan?
Yes, that's what one of the guards out at the track calls you. He also said you're very pretty, and he's right about that. You might remember him. He's red-headed, freckled face. Your car was parked in front of one of the truck entrances out there one day, and they had to move it, so he found your name from your registration in the glove compartment. He said you're out there, rain or shine, race or no race.
Well, as a matter of fact, I guess I am sort of a race fan.
You know Mr. Landy pretty well, then?
No, I wouldn't say that. I know what he looks like. Everybody does.
Were you out there the day of the accident?
Did the guard tell you that?
He couldn't remember.
Well, he couldn't remember because I wasn't there. Didn't the paper say that nobody saw the accident?
Leastwise, nobody says they saw it. But the guard wasn't dead sure that you weren't there either.
Look, Mr.
Jones. No lie, Jones.
Mr. Jones, I have a date, and I'm afraid I'm not going to be any help to you at all. I have to go. Goodbye.
If you think of anything helpful, give me a call. I'm in the phone book, Barnaby Jones.
I'm afraid you drew a blank. Goodbye.
What does your giant all-seeing eye say, Mr. Jones?
Appears to be the same lipstick, all right.
Coincidence?
Don't keep any computers around here, but I would say the chances of coincidence are about one drop in a great big bucket.
Drop in the ocean when you hear what I just found out. That car was bought from Ashton Imports, where a very nice salesman very reluctantly told me that it was bought and paid for in full by a check written on Fowler Industries. And...
Don't tell me. And signed by Mark Landy, Vice President.
You weren't your usual urbane self this evening, darling.
Oh, come on now, Rita. You gotta let me try my new image. I'm a solid businessman. Look at that.
Well, I wouldn't carry it too far if I was you.
Oh, boy, you didn't leave your glasses at the baker's again, did you?
No, I didn't wear them this evening. Edna says they make me look too old.
Well, Edna's gonna have to have her mouth washed out with soap. Hello.
Mark, I've been trying to reach all evening.
Yeah, could you wait just a minute, please? Okay. See what I mean? Business, all ours.
I'll go up.
What are you thinking of? Calling me here?
Well, some private investigator came over to talk to me. A guy named Barnaby Jones.
What'd you tell him?
Oh, don't worry, I handled it. What I want to know is, when are you going to start handling things?
I'll tell you, Laurie, I need some time.
All right, take some time. Time's up. What have you decided?
No, it's just not that easy.
Well, then I'll make it a little bit easier for you. If we were married, a wife can't be forced to testify against her husband, right?
nothing secret about it, Mr. Jones. Miss Wright's going to do certain public relations work for us with racing and automotive magazines. The use of the car is just part of her deal. And she's worth every penny of it, too.
I'll bet she is.
You can certainly confirm what I've just told you. You talk to Miss Wright. Just talk with her.
Well, I've been trying to talk to Miss Wright about another matter. I couldn't find her. I was hoping that you could tell me where she was.
No, she doesn't report in here every day. But when she comes in, I'll have her call you. What other matter are you referring to? Maybe I can help you.
Well, I discovered some evidence which more or less indicates that you haven't been entirely truthful about this whole thing.
I'm afraid you better explain that, Mr. Jones. I'm not used to being accused of lying.
Well, I hope I'm wrong, but I'm kind of like an old carpenter. Unless all the pieces fit and there are no cracks or spaces left, I'm not satisfied.
I'm afraid you're letting your zeal and my father-in-law's fancies run away with you.
Now, your racing suit, the sleeve of it, tells me that you more likely injured your shoulder falling out of the car while it was moving.
Is that so? Anything else worrying you?
I just had your car gone over completely by an expert, and he says that one of the few things that wasn't damaged was the steering.
Yeah, so you put that all together along with some lipstick on my racing suit and...
Well, that lipstick was probably Miss Wright's, but it seemed a little out of place, you're being a married man.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, I can see why you would be suspicious, and I apologize for snapping at you a minute ago. I could have saved you an awful lot of time and trouble, though, if you'd have come straight to me. Miss Wright was at the track that day. You didn't know that. I told her that Fowler Industries was prepared to give her the use of the car. And she got sort of exuberant, I guess, and gave me a great big hug and a kiss, and well, Kurt saw that.
Mm-hmm.
And after the crash, I was in a state of shock. I quite frankly don't remember whether I was thrown out of the car, crawled away from it, or I don't remember.
Well, then you might not have been clear about the steering either.
No, sir. It was definitely the steering. Now, maybe it was in the upper linkage, if your expert says it wasn't in the steering arm. Excuse me.
I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you, Mr. Laney.
Hey, you get any more carpenter work you're not satisfied with, you come see me first, okay?
I'll just do that.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, I know. I promised to be there.
But I don't like it up here alone. There were animals howling around all last night.
Now, you just hang tight. Rita and I'll be there in a little while.
Well, I don't think I should be here.
Oh, yes, my sweet. You want the good life, you're gonna have to work for it.
Well, what do you expect me to do?
Just be there. This time we're gonna share a little secret together. You want to share everything with me, don't you?
Hi.
Hi.
You work around here?
Only when I'm not starring in some major motion picture. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm looking for Miss Wright.
The one with the new wheels?
Yeah, that's the one. Haven't had much luck.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. Most of the girls around here are part gypsy. They get around a lot. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure.
Well, I saw her leaving here yesterday afternoon with an overnight bag and a couple of heavy sweaters tucked under her arms.
Know where she was headed?
She took my advice straight back to where she bought the car.
What do you mean?
Well, I had to help her get it started. Kept dying out on her. I think the choke needed adjusting.
Oh, thanks. I was looking for your next motion picture.
Okay, got a side.
Look, Mr. Jones, my salesman had absolutely no business telling your secretary anything about the purchase of that car in the first place. Our clientele often wishes to keep such gifts confidential.
I'm aware of that, Mr. Ashton, but I wanted to know whether Miss Wright had brought the car in yesterday to be worked on.
Well, she's only had that car for a few days. Why should she want it worked on?
Young lady's missing. I'm doing everything I can think of to find her. Now, would you please check for me?
Malcolm.
Yes, sir.
Was Miss Wright in yesterday with her car?
Yes, sir. Minor adjustment. Had her on her way in no time at all.
I understand she had an overnight bag with her. Did she mention where she was going?
She sure did. Cedar Crest. Said she wanted to make certain she wouldn't get stuck up there. I told her she had nothing to worry about.
Thank you.
Barnaby Jones' office. May I help you? Oh, yes, Barnaby. Cedar Crest?
I understand the fire department up there has every piece of property listed by lot and number.
Well, wouldn't it be simpler to ask Mr. Fowler or Mr. Landy if they have a place up there?
Maybe, but it wouldn't be as safe for a certain young lady. My ears are still ringing from the fastest piece of double talk you ever heard.
Mark Landy?
Yeah, you better make it fast, Betty. I have a hunch that our young gal friend who was so generous with her lipstick is the key to the whole thing. I don't want anybody burying the key on me.
Right.
Mark? What happened? Something wrong?
No, nothing's wrong.
But you said... Where's your wife?
Rita's home. The wife's place is in the home, Laurie. I always say.
You mean I've been sitting up here in this empty cabin for nothing?
You didn't really think I was gonna blow everything just for you, did you, Laurie?
I wanted to talk to you. I changed my mind about...
It's too late. It's too late, Laurie. I can't take any more chances on how you might feel tomorrow.
You can't get away with that. People know I'm up here.
No one knows. That's how we set it up. Remember?
Please, Mark.
All right, Landy, stand right there and throw the gun away. That's far enough, Landy.
Just stay put. Under 10 feet, I'm a dead shot.
Oh, thank God you're here. He tried to kill me.
Is that a nice way to talk about a man that buys you expensive cars?
I keep thinking it was partly my fault.
Now, you mustn't clutter up a pretty day with that kind of thinking.
I just don't understand. I don't seem to be able to find an answer.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, dear. They must have been blown down in the wind last night. Poor little birds. They've been working on that all week.
Now, look up there. There's your answer. The wind didn't bother him. He's up there bright and early, starting in all over again. By tonight, he'll have the thing half finished.
Brand new.
That's the nice thing about every single day. Nobody's ever used it before. It's brand new.
Barnaby Jones, a Quinn Martin production, starring Buddy Ebsen. Also starring Lee Merriweather, Mark Shera, with guest stars Laurie Prang, John Riley, Robert Mandan, Neva Patterson. Tonight's episode, Prisoner of Deceit.
Yeah. Oh, look at you.
There ought to be a law against someone as pretty as you.
There is, against flatterers. In Persia, they make you kiss for 10 straight days without taking a breath for turning a girl's head.
Let's, hold off on the execution of my sentence till we talk about us. What do you say? In a couple of days, we could be dropping anchor in Mazatlan.
I'd like to, Jack.
So?
I can't. You know I can't. It isn't because I don't want to.
But you can get a quick Mexican divorce. We can be gone. He'll never find us.
Yes, he would, wherever we go. And every time you're out of my sight, I'd be so frightened. I'd be so afraid Godfrey killed you. You don't think my husband's capable of murder? Well, he is.
I know. And that's exactly why I am afraid of him. But I think I have the solution. Come here and look. I've been digging into the past, trying to find some reason why Godfrey's got this terrible hold on you.
The fire had happened so long ago. I was only a child when my father died.
I didn't even want to bring it up until I was absolutely sure.
Sure of what?
That Godfrey'd set the fire.
Oh, my God.
Trace, Godfrey killed your father and set the fire to cover it up.
But you'd have to have proof.
I do. Do you remember Selma Lawrence, your father's housekeeper?
Yes, of course. She was like a mother to me.
She was in the house the night the fire started. And then she disappeared right before the inquest.
Remember, she went away.
No, Godfrey paid her to go away. Trace, I know where she is. I found Selma Lawrence.
You've seen her?
No, I see her tomorrow. I can prove it. Godfrey killed your father and set the fire to cover it up.
Get out of here, Tracy.
Leave her alone, Godfrey. She's not going to get back home.
Keep out of this, Crandall.
Keep out of my marriage. Tracy's leaving you.
No, she's not. Not with you. And not with anyone else. Go on, Tracy.
Trace, don't!
This isn't the first time I've had to deal with a punk like you. Don't ever try to see Tracy again.
Tracy! Tracy!
It's changed. Time was, you could see the beaches. Now it's wall-to-wall condominium.
Well, I don't know about the good old days, Barnaby, but old Santa Carla looks just fine the way it is.
Don't reel in the first one that hit your line, Jedediah. The water's full of them.
Mr. Jones.
Oh,
Good to see you again. From what Betty told me, I half expected you last night.
Well, I didn't get my desk cleaned off in time. This is my associate, Jedediah Jones, Steve Crandall.
Hi.
Sorry to hear about your brother's accident.
It wasn't any accident. Let's go on board where we can talk.
Oh, those robberies you solved for my plant a few years ago. I mean, how can you calculate the odds against somebody needing a private investigator once, let alone twice in their life, huh?
From the police report we stopped to read, it would seem that once would have been enough.
That wasn't a report, it was a farce. They haven't dug for the real facts. I'm telling you, Barnaby, somebody murdered my brother.
Well, according to the autopsy, he'd been drinking. They're saying that he stumbled off the dock, hit his head against a boat.
Yeah, sure, Jack drank, but only a shot or two. His stomach couldn't take more. You can check that out with his doctor.
Nevertheless, that's not enough to prove that it wasn't an accident.
Look, Jack and I were always very close. No secrets between us. That's until he brought his boat up here to Santa Carla. And he started to clam up on me.
What do you mean? You think he got into some kind of trouble up here?
Yeah, our trouble. He fell in love with some girl. He admitted that much.
You know who?
No, he wouldn't tell me her name. Maybe because she was married.
Sounds like you worked yourself up to a jealous husband theory.
It could be. See, Jack was a freelance newspaper man, feature stuff. Said he was working on some kind of a story up here. Wouldn't tell me what, but I got the feeling that the two were connected, the story and the girl.
That's it? Nothing more tangible?
Well, if you call something missing tangible, Jack always kept a gun on board. One of these drawers. Now it's gone.
Did he give you the impression that the story he was working on was dangerous enough for him to carry a gun?
Oh, I don't know, Barnaby. Jedediah, I told you it's gone. I've searched everywhere.
Was it just the gun you were looking for?
Oh, no, wait a minute. Here's something. Oh, it's just an old piece of newspaper. Aurora wins Gold Cup.
Barnaby, find that girl. If she turns out to be a dead end, at least I know we've tried.
All right. Where can we contact you, Steve?
Here, I'll be staying on board until I can clear up some of Jack's estate.
Have you any idea why your brother would have wanted to go to Reno?
Reno?
According to the police, they found an airline ticket to Reno in his pocket when they pulled him out of the water.
Aurora wins Gold Cup. Well, other than that, doesn't seem to be too much news.
Except for that story down there.
Inquest held in millionaire David Enright's death.
Big story at the time. He was found burned to death right in his own house.
Survived by daughter Tracy, sister Lillian. Search goes on for missing witness Selma Lawrence, the Enright housekeeper.
Your file have any more on that story?
Pretty much died with the inquest. But his sister, Lillian Enright, might be able to give you more. Lives down at the marina.
Maybe you could tell me a little something about your brother's death.
David? He was trapped in a burning room. But that was 12 years ago. I don't see what connection it could possibly have.
Well, for some reason, Jack Crandall was interested in that fire. Any idea how it started?
Nobody knew for sure.
What about the missing housekeeper, Selma Lawrence?
Well, I never subscribed to the theories that she went bonkers and put the torch to her boss. No, I have my own suspicions about that.
Care to share them?
As a result of my brother's death, his lawyer, Godfrey Wilde, became executor of the estate. It gave him complete authority to administer Tracy's inheritance.
Tracy, your brother's 12-year-old daughter.
Tracy hasn't been 12 for a long time, Mr. Jones. In fact, before she was to turn 21, when she would come into control of her own money, Godfrey married her. Does that give you the picture?
Kind of paints in the bare places.
It's all perfectly clear to me, as it must have been to Jack Crandall. Tracy's terrified of Godfrey. Obviously, he took advantage of that fear to bully her into marrying him.
So he could retain control of the money.
You don't think it's love, do you? He's twice her age.
Well, thank you very much, Miss Enright.
As long as I'm at it, there's one more thing. My apartment, you see, overlooks the marina parking lot. On the night that Jack Crandall died, I happened to be on my balcony.
Miss Wilde, did Jack Crandall tell you he planned to go to Reno?
Reno?
Can you think of any reason he may have wanted to go there?
I didn't know Jack very well. I liked him. He was the kind of person you could go to if you needed help.
Was he helping you with something?
He was trying to.
Something about your father's death?
No, of course not. That was years ago. It was about money, as a matter of fact.
Are you having financial problems?
My husband handles all of my financial affairs. Last year, he invested rather heavily in some land deal near Reno. Something to do with the highway they were supposed to build. Well, it all fell through, and I lost quite a lot of money. Jack was trying to find out if I could recover any of it.
Does your husband know that you asked Jack to help you?
No. No, he mustn't know. You see, he would think I was going behind his back, that I didn't trust his judgment.
Miss Wilde, this land, could you tell me where it is?
Well, it's all supposed to be rather confidential, but if... Godfrey, this is Mr. Barnaby Jones.
I know who he is. You're the private detective who is trying to make such a mystery out of young Crandall's death.
We're just trying to find out what happened, Mr. Wilde.
I thought the police already knew what happened. Crandall was drunk. He usually was. I'm afraid that that's all Tracy and I can help you with.
There is one related matter that you may be able to throw some light on.
What's that?
I hear that your car was parked at the marina the night Jack Crandall was drowned. Mind telling me what you were doing there?
I didn't tell him that. Whoever told you that is mistaken.
Are you sure, Mrs. Wilde?
Yes. You see, Godfrey couldn't have been at the marina. We were together all evening. Neither of us left the house that night.
So, Fred, I'm not gonna hurt you.
How'd you get in here?
I'm Steve Crandall, Jack's brother.
Oh. I heard what happened.
Now I know why Jack wanted to stay in Santa Carla.
Well, I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about, so if you kindly leave.
Why don't you just forget the act? I was going through Jack's papers and found his gas credit card receipts. Some had your license number on them.
All right. But please believe me, Jack was sweet and kind, but there was never anything between us.
Then what is there to hide?
You're being naive. I'm a married woman. People don't understand platonic friendships.
You really don't expect me to believe that?
Look, my husband's on his way here.
I don't think your husband's on his way here at all.
Well, Jack always said you were the cynic in the family.
He talked about me?
All the time. How you were the ambitious one ever since you were kids. How you used to walk him to school to see he didn't get beaten up by the older boys.
Sometimes they beat us both up.
But you'd never run home and complain to your parents.
We always fought our own battles.
You see, I do know a lot about you.
Yeah, after I got your name from DMV, I did checking. This house must hold a lot of bitter memories for you.
Because my father died here. It's still my home. At least that's the way I think of it. I grew up here. I used to do my homework in this room. My father would be sitting in this chair. So long as I could turn around and see him there, I knew nothing bad could ever happen to me. Jack told me he used to feel the same way about you.
Did you ask him to investigate your father's death?
No. There was no mystery about it. The power failed. My father was lighting some candles in his study. The curtains caught fire. He was trying to put them out. They fell down on top of him. He was trapped.
Are you in the house then?
Upstairs asleep. Selma, the housekeeper, rushed in and got me outside.
I see. Do you mind if we went outside? This place really gives me the creeps.
Steve, knowing you through Jack and now finally meeting you, I feel I can somehow trust you.
What was Jack trying to find out for you?
Well, nothing really. Just about some land investments my husband made for me in Nevada near Reno.
That explains something. I'll be seeing you again.
I hope so. Where are you staying?
On Jack's boat.
You'd like to see me arrested for murder, wouldn't you, Lily?
I merely told Barnaby Jones the truth. I did see your car.
And a lot of dollar signs, too. What is it this time, Lillian? Another trip to Europe or more cash to cover your bank loan again?
Inflation, Godfrey, it keeps us always in need.
But if you think turning that detective onto me is going to help you, forget it. It's not going to help you get 1 cent of Tracy's money.
Once you're put away where you belong, Tracy will be free to do exactly as she pleases with it.
You fool. Don't you know what would happen? All right, how much do you want? I'll give it to you out of my own money, but not Tracy's.
How much is it worth to you to stay out of prison?
Sometimes prison would seem like a relief.
You should have been sent there years ago.
For killing Tracy's father, you still believe that old lie?
You got rid of Selma Lawrence because she knew the truth.
Selma Lawrence? Yes, I did. Maybe it's time you knew the truth about Selma Lawrence, Lillian.
Reno? Isn't that in the desert?
No, it's in the mountains. Now, what I want you to do is check in at the land office there and see if they have a record of any real estate transactions involving Godfrey Wilde.
Okay, I think I could do that.
And Betty, remember the last time you went to Las Vegas? I had to wire you money.
Well, listen, Barnaby, I've learned my lesson. I mean, I am going to stay so far away from those one-armed bandits, you won't believe it.
Well, actually, I'm just a law student, Mr. Long. I haven't taken my bar exams yet, but it's a real break for me to get to know somebody with your legal experience.
Well, thank you, young man. Of course, my legal experience was mostly inside the office.
Well, from what I heard, you ran Godfrey Wilde's law firm.
32 years I worked for that firm. And here I am having to count my pennies.
Yeah, well, it seems to me Godfrey Wilde treated you pretty badly after all you did for him.
Not even a pension or profit-sharing plan.
Well, you weren't the only one who was sent out to pasture without a pension.
To whom are you referring?
The woman who worked for the Enrights. I think her name was Selma Lawrence.
What about Miss Lawrence?
Well, Godfrey had her fired. Packed her right out of the Enright house without even a month's salary.
Oh, no, he didn't. He was more than generous to her.
That's not the way I heard it.
I ran Godfrey Wilde's office. I know everything that went on there. A check was sent out to Miss Lawrence the first of every month.
Maybe we're not talking about the same person.
No. There was only one. Selma Lawrence. I used to send out those checks to Reno myself before I was forced to retire.
To Reno? You wouldn't happen to remember her address, would you?
I don't know what you're really after, young man. But I don't give out that kind of information. Thank you for the drink.
You know, Barnaby, there's no record of any Nevada land deal involving Godfrey Wilde. Listen, I'll be landing back in L.A. In about 2 hours.
Betty, I'm afraid you're going to have to take a later plane. Jedediah was unable to locate an address on this. Want you to see if you can locate a Selma Lawrence living in the Reno area quietly, I imagine, and probably for the last 12 years.
Selma Lawrence. All right, I'll get right on it.
All right, tire snug, Tracy.
Okay, Steve.
You got it? Yeah. Good.
How'd I do?
You're a born sailor, Tracy.
Steve, I've had such a marvelous time. Please don't spoil it.
I'm sorry. But no matter how the chips fall, I can't call Barnaby Jones off the case.
Steve, I'm frightened.
Look, your husband won't lay a hand on you. I'll see to
But
that.
Godfrey has a gun.
Are you threatening with it?
No, not yet.
How do you know he has one?
Last night I left my scarf in his car. I saw it in his glove compartment.
What kind was it? What did it look like?
I don't know. Small, flat.
Was it like the one Jack had?
I don't know, Steve. Please, it's not me. I'm frightened for. It's you.
Godfrey found out about you and Jack and killed him, didn't he?
I don't know. All I know is I want to be free of him. I want to be free of him.
All right. Let's help each other then.
How?
We'll both go to Jones and tell him what you know. Godfrey's threats, the gun.
No. No, Steve, I don't want what happened to Jack to happen to you.
Tracy, listen to me.
No, please, you listen. Now, Godfrey promised. He promised that if you got that detective to go away, he promised that he'd set me free. He wouldn't try to get me back, please.
Tracy, if you help Jones nail Godfrey, you will be free.
No, he'll kill you. He'll kill us both.
Tracy!
Hello?
JR, this is Steve Crandall. Is Barnaby there?
No, he isn't. He just took a hop over to Godfrey Wilde's house. Is there anything I can do?
No, that's okay. I'll go up there and talk to him myself.
He all right? Very lucky man, I'm told. A crash like that could have cost a cat 8 of his 9 lives.
How long before he can tell us what happened?
Who knows? He was unconscious when they got to him, still is. Couple of hours, couple of days. Excuse me, Mr. Jones.
You know, Barnaby, this seems like an easy turn. Must be going pretty fast to overshoot it. What is it? What'd you find?
Looks like a piece of taillight limb.
Barnaby, if that's from Crandall's car, that would mean he got a little help from behind going over this cliff.
I'm really quite tired of answering your questions, Mr. Jones.
Well, if you don't mind my saying so, Mr. Wilde, you don't seem to be too surprised to find out that Steve Crandall's car just flipped off the road not too far from here.
Unfortunately, accidents seem to run in that family.
The facts don't point to an accident, Mr. Wilde.
I don't see what that has to do with me.
Well, I thought you may have been driving by and seen something. It might prove helpful. It happened around 1 o'clock.
No, I was here having lunch with my wife.
That's funny. I came by about that time to talk to you, but nobody answered the door and your car was gone.
You said that was 1 o'clock? Ah, yes, actually, we'd finished lunch earlier than that. Tracy dropped me off at the club and then took the car to be serviced.
You know, when we were driving up, we noticed that your car was still gone.
Well, actually, Tracy's still using it to keep an appointment with Derek to get her hair done. You know, if there's nothing else, I do have business to attend to.
Well, if there is, we'll get in touch with you. You can drop me off at the motel. Betty's due back from Reno about now.
Well, don't you think we better see if Tracy's alibi checks out with her husband's? You know, before they have a chance to compare notes.
Well, that's why you're going on to the beauty parlor. Ask Tracy if she'd like to come over for a drink later.
Well, thanks a lot, Speedy. Yeah.
Where you been, Betty? Gal at the airport said your plane landed an hour ago.
Oh, well, you know how airports are. I had to wait forever for a taxi. Oh, but I did find Selma Lawrence. Or at least I found out where she lives.
Did you see her or speak to her?
No, a woman beat me to it. Her next-door neighbor said that she saw Selma put some luggage into an old black limousine and then they drove off.
An old black limousine with large white wall tires?
Yes, and California license plates. Do you know it?
Lillian Enright drives a car like that. Does one-armed bandage take all your money?
What makes you think that?
I saw that taxi that brought you here.
J.R. You weren't really baptized J.R., were you?
Yeah, yeah. My folks were frightened by a can of alphabet soup. Is this going to take long?
Not much. But really, this is a bore. I mean, if Mr. Jones wanted to see me, why couldn't he drop by the house?
He did. He tried. About 1 o'clock this afternoon, but you were out. Shopping, I guess.
No, I was sailing most of the afternoon.
Well, it sure was a nice day for it. Does your husband like sailing?
Not much.
Oh, then he wasn't with you.
What Mr. Jones should have done is to call first to see if I was home. I mean, I just don't sit around the house waiting for detectives to pop out of the blue. What does he want?
Well, for one thing, to find out why you lied about knowing Jack Crandall.
I didn't want to lie. Steve made me do it.
Steve. Crandall.
Well, it really doesn't matter now. Now that Steve's dead.
Wait a minute. What do you mean Steve is dead?
Don't you know? It's been on the radio. He was killed in a car accident.
No. I haven't heard.
Poor thing. His brother know him. Derek! Derek, will you please come here and fix this?
What did you mean when you said Steve made you lie?
He didn't want Mr. Jones to find out that it was him, and not Jack, that I was Well, I can't really say in love with. I never really was in love with Steve. He was just a lot of fun, that's all.
How does Jack fit in?
I asked him for help. I needed someone Steve would listen to. He was so insanely jealous of Godfrey, even of Jack, as it turned out.
Now, wait a minute. Are you saying that he thought that his own brother was making time with you?
Yes. But I couldn't get him to believe that there was nothing between me and Jack. He came to me the night that Jack died, full of wild threats.
Against you?
No, against Jack. He said he was going to go down to the boat and settle it. Excuse me.
Stay tuned for the news. From Washington, the president's new economic...
I can't stay, Derek. How do I look?
We'll also have a report on the latest outbreak...
I couldn't have done better myself. How much do I owe you?
Oh, Derek, you're impossible.
Police have identified Steve Crandall of Los Angeles as the man who escaped death in a freak auto accident on North Santa Carla Road. First news of the accident came in moments ago from our mobile unit on the scene. Crandall, the police say, owes his life to some hikers who happened upon the LA man trapped in the wreckage of his car earlier this afternoon. A rescue squad arrived moments later and rushed Crandall to the hospital, where he's reported in stable condition.
Shall we go?
Yeah.
If ever I'm in need of a detective, I know who I'd call.
Yes, may I speak to Mrs. Tracy Wilde? She had an appointment with Derek. Oh, thank you. She just left with J.R.
They're probably going directly to the motel bar. When Jedediah calls, I'll be with Lillian Enright. Tell him to wait.
I'll get you back to your car as soon as we're finished.
JR, there's something I'd like to get first before I speak with Mr. Jones.
Can it wait?
Well, it's a letter that Steve wrote after Jack died, and I think it might help him understand why he killed his brother.
Where is it?
I didn't want Godfrey to find it, so I hid it. Please, I'll show you where.
Reno? No, Mr. Jones, you're wrong. I haven't been to Reno in years.
The doorman downstairs said he helped you unload some bags this morning.
Charles? He drinks a lot, you know.
His description of the lady with you matches that of Selma Lawrence.
Vodka. Charles would like you to think it's mineral water, but it's really vodka.
Miss Enright, as a rule, I don't go to the police until I'm pretty sure what's going on, but...
Selma, would you come here, please? Selma, this is Barnaby Jones. He's a private detective, Miss Lawrence.
How do you do? I'd like to ask you a few questions.
I don't have to answer any questions.
Mr. Wilde has paid for your silence for a long time, hasn't he?
Mr. Wilde is paying for my retirement, if that's what you mean.
Maybe it would have been better had you answered these questions 12 years ago at the inquest. Then a young man named Jack Crandall might still be alive.
Well, I don't know anything about that.
But you do know what happened the night that David Enright was killed in that fire.
Whatever I know is between me and Godfrey Wilde and nobody else.
I understand that you were very close to Tracy after her mother died when she was 5.
Well, yes. I love that child very much.
Enough to protect her against anything?
Well, children always need protection.
Now that I've met you, I can see that you're not the type to take money to hide or for any other reason excepting to protect Tracy.
No, no.
And that's the reason you didn't show up at the inquest? Because you couldn't bring yourself to say that you knew that Tracy was responsible for her father's death?
Oh, Miss Lillian.
I think I'd better call Godfrey and tell him that we're coming over to talk to him.
Yeah, I remember it. I read about it in an old newspaper account. This is where you hid the letter, huh?
It's my home. I hide everything here. My thoughts, my dreams. Whenever I'm in trouble, it's the only place I know. I used to do my homework in this room. My father would be sitting in this chair. So long as I could turn around and see him, I knew nothing bad could ever happen to me.
Look, have you got the letter?
It's upstairs. Let me show you around first. This is where my father died. I was asleep when I heard him calling for help.
Asleep? But I thought the newspaper said that the fire took place a little after dark.
I came running downstairs. Smoke was coming out from under the door. Daddy! 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 Tracy, help me! Help me, Tracy! Tracy, but I couldn't help him. Selma stopped me. Held me back.
Selma? She was a housekeeper.
Yes. She and Godfrey were in it together. They both killed my father.
It was an accident. Tracy didn't mean to do it. She had lit some candles. The power had gone out. The curtains caught on fire. When her father tried to put them out, the burning curtains fell on him. Tracy lost her head. She ran out the door, closed it, pressed herself against it. She wouldn't even let Selma get in.
She wasn't trying to stop me from saving her father. She was just trying to close out that awful sight of burning and her father's pain.
The firemen had it out, and David's body was being removed by the time that I got there.
And that's when the lying started?
Right then and there. She was in shock. She felt that she had caused the fire, and in her panic, hadn't answered her father's cry for help. So she started blaming others. At first, it was Selma.
She even tried to poison me. Me.
So Godfrey paid off Selma, had her safely hidden away before the inquest.
So she couldn't testify against him.
Exactly. Then he packed me off to a mental clinic, tried to have me declared incompetent so that he could take over my inheritance.
At 12 years old? He would have needed a guardian in any case.
Don't you see how clever he was? He was trying to get me committed for life. That way he would control my money forever.
Less than 9 years later, you married him.
Yes. I didn't realize at the time what he was after until after we were married.
Her father had been my closest friend. So, of course, I wanted desperately to help Tracy.
How long has she been in therapy?
A little over 3 years. And as she grew older, I tried my own hand at trying to break down that sense of guilt.
Well, I remember Mr. Wilde calling me on the telephone and telling me how well the child was coming along.
And suddenly she wasn't a child anymore.
Yes. She'd grown into a beautiful woman. And I found I'd fallen in love with her. Excuse me. Hello?
Hello, I was given this number by the doorman at Miss Enright's building. Is a Mr. Barnaby Jones there, please?
Yes. One moment. It's for you.
Thank you. Hello?
Barnaby, I haven't heard from JR yet. Are you sure they were coming straight back here from the hairdressers?
Yeah, you tried a bar?
They're not there. I just went over.
I'll get back to you, Betty. Did Tracy have anything else to do today besides go to the hairdresser?
No. Something wrong?
I had an appointment with her and JR to talk, and they seem to have gotten lost.
Godfrey, if something's frightened her...
Yes. If that's so, I think I know where she'd want to be. Come with me.
Listen, I hate to keep pushing about this, but could you please run upstairs and get the letter?
All right. JR, I thought after telling you everything, you'd take pity on me. I don't want revenge. I thought I did. But I know now that all I want is to go away. Forget the past. Help me, please. Help me. Help me forget.
There never was a letter, was there?
No. I wanted to speak to you first. I knew Mr. Jones would never understand.
You heard on the radio that Steve wasn't killed. And you don't want to face Barnaby because you'd have to explain to him why you thought he was dead.
Oh, please, please try to understand. Please, Godfrey told me. He told me that he pushed him off the road. He must have thought he killed him.
Tracy, let's go.
No!
Tracy.
Shot!
JR? JR, I'm sorry. I don't have the gun anymore.
Tracy!
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I didn't mean to hurt you.
It's all right.
JR followed me here. You said he wanted me. He tried to attack me.
Don't, Tracy.
Get an ambulance.
He was. I never told you this before, Godfrey, but I don't like this house. I haven't for a very long time.
Sure. Maybe it's time we sold it.
I think we better be going now.
Yes, Godfrey. You always know what's best for me.
I guess there are things you can't always protect someone from, no matter how much you love them.
Better have that looked after, Mr. Wilde.
Thank you for all your trouble, Mr. Jones.
Well, wouldn't be too much point in bringing her to trial, would it, Barnaby?
Not when she's already serving her sentence.